Sorry. Five tanks. Getting dizzy. I got a headache. My body's telling me stop. There's a pile of logs. We're gonna smallerize them right now. So this is all the small stuff that I got from the people that cut a bunch of trees down in their woods. This is the tops. Most of this stuff is this size and smaller. So there's a lot of tiny ones in here, but there's some chunky ones that have some crotches too that I put over here. Stuff that's not really good for the processor, and it needs to be cut. This stuff is dry. It is about a year old, and being that it's tops, most of this I'm only going to split just for management purposes because it'll look better, it'll stack better. When I sell it, it'll burn better. Some of it might be a little damp inside, but I would say 90% of this is going to be dry, ready to burn now. Because ash is a very dry wood, even when it's living, not that there's any alive anymore in the United States, but this stuff was standing dead and it was cut a year ago. So a lot of it's going to be very, very dry. And we're going to cut it today. So I sharpened up my saws this morning, loaded them up. I got 562, 572s. I got fuel. I got all the stuff I need. It is about 8 o'clock in the morning. It might be 8:30 now. I should have been here by 5 because this morning it was fairly cool. It wasn't too bad. It's already 80 degrees and it's about 99.9% humidity. They have heat index warnings today. It's supposed to get up to 110 to 115 with the heat index. Right now, it's not terrible. It's if you stand still, but everything is wet and sticky like, so they said danger, warning, hydrate, you're gonna die, all that kind of stuff. I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I'm gonna cut as much of this as I can today until my body says you're done. So hopefully I get 3, 4, 5, 6 tanks done. I don't know, we'll see. I'll probably cut for a while, hop in the truck, turn the air on, cool down, and then cut a bunch more. But I want to get this pile done. I've got a bin that I started yesterday. I didn't record it because it was raining out, so I didn't even turn the camera on. It wasn't raining hard, but I just started on it. But this is where it's going to go over here. That's the cherry that we put in the other day. The hickory's next to that. And then this is where I'm going to start putting the mixed hardwood right in here. Now, this is the lowest spot of all of my storage area. It's high over there, it's high over here, and this is the dip. There's the low spot. So I put pallets down, but I also put some pallets in the area where I saw water standing like a week ago when it rained really hard. So I put double pallets down because this does drain. I mean, everything drains this way. It's a low spot, and there's no concrete right in this area right here. There's like an opening, which I probably should fill it in with some gravel or something, but I'm just gonna put pallets down for now, and that's where it's gonna go. Because this wood is already dry, because this wood, it'll be fine on the pallets. And I wanna cut this stuff because I'm almost out of my mixed hardwood. I don't have much left at all. The pile down there is red oak, then white oak, and then this is cherry that we just did, which is about half of it's dry. This is the hickory we did, I don't know, it's probably 3 or 4 weeks ago now. That's drying really well. I got this little bit of oak here, and right there is the ash that I've got left. So that's all I got left for kind of the mixed stuff. I got to get that done. So I'm having people buy campfire wood now from time to time, and I've been selling a lot of ash, and all I've got at my business is oak and hard maple. I don't have any like lower grade stuff for campfire wood. I do have some pine, some spruce, balsam over there that I want to get cut up for campfire wood. That's on my list also. But I want to get this bin done. And what I'm going to do is cut it, split it, put it right into the bin. I'm going to do it the same way I did the cherry. I'm going to cut it right here. The cherry I cut right here. But I'm going to cut it over here, and then I'm going to split it right into my bucket and then dump it with the bucket right into the bin. And if it gets to where I can't get enough in there because of how it's laid out, I should be able to come from the side and dump it in. I'll put the elevator over there and I'll elevate it and get it up higher, because this is a good bunch of wood here. I'm thinking there is, if I had to just guess here, There's probably a good 5 full cords of wood in this pile, and there's a bunch out over there too, so kind of around the corner. But it's time to start cutting, and I'm gonna be one shveddy boy today. My wife's made some meatballs for me today, and I said, don't worry about the meatballs. I've got enough shorty stuff going on, so I don't need those too. Okay, let's get cutting. She wrote. Sorry. Take off my thong and wring it out. The only thing drying me is my sense of humor. I'm soaking wet. My socks are wet, underwear, everything's wet. Had to take a break. It's 85 degrees now. I just looked at the weather. Been cutting for a little over an hour. Cut 2 tanks. So that means I got about 2 full cords cut, because I cut about a full cord an hour. And the heat index, they said, is 95, so it's getting to the critical point now. I don't want to get heat stroke again, because I've had it before a couple times and it's not fun. Usually it's because the sun gets me. I get heated up, too warm, and then I work out in the sun, and the body just warms up and get to the point where you're not sweating anymore. But I've been drinking. I drink half of this already, so, and I had a monster this morning, so hot. I gotta force some more in and take a break, cool off a bit. Saws are cutting good. They're nice and sharp. Of course, this is dry ash and it's small, so it cuts easy. Yeah, it was just about, I thought it was getting close to where I was gonna run out, and I stood up and I was dizzy and like, I gotta sit down. I've been dizzy my whole life, but when you're cutting and you get dizzy, it's time to stop. So I had to cool off for a while, take a break for 15-20 minutes, and I'll get back at it. Making a dent in it anyway. It's getting there. Ooh, brain freeze. Yeah, I filled this up with ice this morning, and then I've been drinking, I drink a lot of Powerade when I'm days like this. But my wife bought me these packets of electrolyte mix. There's like Zero, and there's a couple other ones I've tried. So I put a couple of those packets in with this. It seems to help with the cramps, because on really hot days, if I don't drink enough, if I drink just water, I get cramps. I get hand cramps, my back will start to get cramps, I get Charlie horses, I've had stomach cramps. Yeah, it gets bad. I had cramps in my calves, my toes. I take my boots off and I'll wiggle my feet around. I change socks some days when I get soaking wet, I get cramps. So you gotta have electrolytes. I mean, that's real important. Try to push the sodium. Everybody's like, oh, salt's not good for you. It is when you sweat a lot. So I'm gonna cut for I'm gonna get cooled off. I'll probably cut another tank. And then I'm gonna hop in the truck, turn the air on, and go get a big greasy burger with some salty fries and a big soda. That's my plan for lunch. Cool off a bunch and I'll come back and cut some more. I'd like to cut 6 tanks today. The first saw was cutting really good, and then I must have hit the ground and it got dull. It ran out right about when I noticed it was getting dull. Second saw is starting to get a little dull, but I noticed some of these logs have dirt in the bark, and I've cut right through it a couple of times. You can feel it. It's not as aggressive, because I like the saw to pull me in. I like the teeth to really bite, so I like my rakers a little bit aggressive too, a little bit low. And I like the saw to actually, I have to kind of hold it back because it's pulling me in. And when I go to make my initial cut, if it doesn't pull me in, I know it's not as sharp as it was. And especially in there was a couple bigger ones there I had to cut. I had to force it a little bit. When you're starting to force it, you're getting dull. If you cut enough, you just know when it's time to sharpen, and it's pretty much every tank. Sometimes I can get away from cutting really clean wood, and it's green wood, because there's a lot of moisture in it, and I stay off the ground and there's no dirt in it. I can go 2 tanks, but even then, like when I get done with that second tank, I'm like, yeah, I should. And you sharpen, it's like, wow, what a difference. Because it's such a gradual loss of sharpness that it just happens. I mean, I had a guy ask me, he's like, whoa, when does your saw get dull? I said, the second you touch wood with it, it's starting to get dull. Every cut you make gets duller and duller. You might not notice it, but unless you're cutting pine or you're cutting something that's a real juicy, wet hardwood, like say aspen or cottonwood. What else is juicy? Juicy Lucy. I don't know. Whatever wood is real wet, cuts easier. Or it's just softwood, any kind of pine, spruce, balsam, fir. It's like cutting butter. But when you cut dry ash, there's no moisture in it. You can tell. You get a lot of that chattering. You can feel it. It's different. And if you're cutting dry or frozen hard maple, that's like cutting concrete. Hickory's like cutting concrete. White oak can be like that. Elm can be bad too, especially if it's frozen, if it's cut fresh green, and then you got it in stick form for a week or two, whatever, and it's 20 below and you go to cut it. It's like cutting concrete. And for those of you that live down south, or those of you that cut out in the West Coast, Come here when it's 20, 30 below and lay into a big 30-inch piece of hard maple. Watch your chain snap. Then you know what hardwood is. I've snapped a couple chains. I've seen them get snapped. My brother's cut lots of wood and he's snapped chains. If you got a good aggressive saw and you lay into it and you got a big chunk of wood, you can break a chain. So anyway, I gotta drink some more. Oh, that's good booze. Not booze. That's at night. All right. Ah. Oh. Hot, hot, hot. That's a lot of wood there. So I got almost 4 tanks done now, probably 3 3/4. And again, I was working, I got a little dizzy there. I thought, oh, I better quit. So I took off my helmet and chaps, wiped off a pound of sweat off my head, and got something to drink now. Before I started cutting that 4th tank, I did sharpen all 3 saws. One was real dull. I must have hit rock or something. The other 2 weren't terrible. You know, there was jagged edges on the top, but now I got a nice good line on the top plate. Nice good point, so they're cutting good. Wood's cutting pretty good. It's just that my body's not gonna last a lot longer. I just looked at the weather. It's 89 degrees and the enemy is starting to peek out. Now the sun is coming out. So 89 doesn't sound too bad. I mean, I can work in that. But when there's sun, that makes a difference. And it's super humid. They said the heat index is 99 right now. And they said the heat index today is gonna hit 105 and it should hit 91 or 2 degrees. So it's gonna get a little warmer, but because right now, I don't know, it's 11:30, something like that. Somewhere in there, I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm here to work today. So I don't know if I'm halfway done. I don't know. Let's look over here and see. I got all those to chuck out of there. Yeah, I'm probably getting close to halfway. So I'm going to cut all that. So if I take that and move it over there, I'm close to halfway, which is good. And this is 99% ash. I did have 1 piece of basswood and 1 piece of elm I saw in there that I cut, and 1 piece of soft maple. Otherwise, it's pretty much all ash. So what's going to be nice is this size stuff right here. I don't have to split it because it's dry, but I just know that if I split it in half, it'll stack better, it'll dry a little bit more, and it'll look nicer as far as sawing. So I'll split all these in half at least. So obviously the bigger ones I'll knock down. So I just got to move all these out of here, and I'm going to go sit in the AC in the truck for 15-20 minutes and force as much liquid into my body as I can because I'm literally just dripping. But I wish the sun would go away. I want clouds. I like clouds. All right, I'm going to go cool off. I'll be right back. Thanks. Getting dizzy. I got a headache. My body's telling me stop. My brain says, my heart says, go! You can do more, but my body's telling me no. So yeah, that's the 5th tank there. I just ran out of gas again, and so that's probably close to 4.5 to 5 full cords is what I cut. I can see the end. So I'd like to cut all of it today, but I can't even catch my breath anymore. It's there's probably another 2 tanks there easily, 2.5, 3, I don't know, it's a bunch. Whew. Actually, the cutting is hard, but the chucking of the rounds into the pile is harder. So I got to get cool off. I'm going to sit in the AC again. I did for a while before it cooled down until I got to where I had the chills, which is a bad sign for heat stroke when you get the chills. I've been pouring as much liquid in as I can. I already drank a gallon today. So I'm going to go cool off. We're going to come back. I'm going to chuck these out of the way and then see how I feel. Maybe I'll do 1 more. Look at that pile. It's getting big. I'm probably 2/3 of the way done cutting, and this is what's left. There's probably 3 tanks here. I'm thinking, well, yeah, probably 3 tanks, and I cut 5-ish, maybe a little more than that. I don't know. Losing track of time, getting dizzy and hot. It's 96 degrees right now. It was 97 a little while ago. The sun comes out and it feels like 110. And the actual heat index is 107, they just said. I just looked on my phone, so I'm getting charley horses in the back of my legs. My back is starting to hurt. Pain, it's muscle pain. I can feel it from lifting. And not that you really care, but it's in the afternoon. I peed once today. It's just been sweat like crazy. And when I did, it was like orange juice. So I want to do the rest of it. I want to, but I know I shouldn't. So I've got a headache, and that's usually one of the signs of heat stroke, so I don't want to do that again. So I'm gonna go home, take a cold shower, do some editing the rest of the day. That's what I'm gonna do, which is probably the smart thing to do. But I want to get this done, because it's not done. I want it done. Done is what I like. Okay, I'm gonna quit talking and go get cooled off, put my toys away. See you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. We're either gonna cut or split. I don't know. Tomorrow morning. I'll be here, you better be here. Good night, Irene. Look at that. He says it's hot.